The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill. A breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help. Just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
The human voice. It can be sweet as music, powerful as thunder,
and so, my fellow Americans,
cheerful as laughter. But for millions of people, it can also be a sign of COPD. This serious lung disease can make it so hard to breathe, you often can't catch a breath or finish a sentence, let alone carry a tune. And many who have COPD don't even know it. That's where your voice comes in. If you think you or a loved one have symptoms, talk with a healthcare provider. Early diagnosis can mean better treatments and quality of life. Join us in raising our voices for the millions with COPD who can't. Learn more, breathe better at NIH.gov.
1, 2, 3, 4. As a mother, you don't want to have to worry about this bill is coming, but then she needs this chemo. That's a decision you shouldn't have to make.
It's a huge burden lifted financially, and so it allows you to give singular focus to your child. I've never known a hospital that takes care of their patients so thoroughly.
That was the first thing I was like, how are we going to do this? When they told us that we didn't have to pay a single bill, I was like, wow. They pretty much have saved us.
It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders, and now your focus is supporting this child.
There is not another hospital like St. Jude. The patient care is unmatchable. It saved my life. It saved my daughter's life. It saved our family.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
And all, yes indeed, it is I, your lovable host, Rod, coming to you live on this Friday morning. Welcome to Freedom Friday. Yes, here it is, Friday, November number 10 in the year of our Lord 2017, which means Ecclesiastites and liberty lovers all across the globe that we take things a little bit lighter. We talk about just about anything in an attempt to celebrate as we go into the weekend, celebrate our freedoms being returned somewhat. Now, I know a lot of people don't realize what's going on because people ask, well, what has Trump done? What has Trump done? Well, there are a lot of regulations, the stuff that is within Trump's control that he has rolled back. And that is cause for celebration indeed, because it means, businesses and individuals are more free to do what they, live their own lives again without government intervention. Now, he still has a long way to go. He admits it. There's just, what do we got? Over 75,000 rules and regulations on the book. Do you realize we don't have nearly that many laws? But rules and regulations carry the weight of law without being passed as law. A lot of people don't realize, we need to regulate. No, we can't do. Actually, most regulation is no. I'm surprised nobody's really, I guess they really can't challenge it because they would never get anywhere. But most rules and regulations are actually unconstitutional, and the U.S. Congress has abdicated a lot of its constitutional power in the form of these rules and regulations. By the way, that they turn their power over to these stupid bureaucrats, these departments, and the departments assumed. The funny thing is much like the IRS. Just an example. Some of these departments just assume that they have control over stuff without actually being given the power. They just assume they have the power. And then everybody says, well, they must have the power because they're assuming that they have the power. So they must have. And Congress doesn't do anything to stop them. And so years and years go by before they come out with a regulation that somebody says, well, no, you can't do that. And they sue them. And most of the time they lose because the government says, well, you don't have any standing, which is also unconstitutional. This could be a program of unconstitutional, stuff happening in our government that is being allowed. But not having standing is one of those things that's new. But in any case, here we are on this Friday. Tomorrow is the 11th, which is Veterans Day. So all veterans here with us today and past, who have passed on, thank you for your service, big time. It is a day for you. Now, I know there are many active duty that won't have the day off tomorrow to celebrate. They'll be. By the way, there's a story here I have in my currently cigar nicotine stained fingers that says that the United States Air Force is short some 2,000 pilots. Well, if you are under, what is the age limit? 25, 27? If you're under the age of 25, you have good vision, near perfect vision. You have good grades in high school and college. It might behoove you to look into being a flyboy, a pilot. No, I'm serious. Well, I mean, you get to fly those awesome birds for one. The fighter jets and the big jets like the C-5A Galaxy, one of the world's. There's a question mark of what the actual largest plane in the world is. There's a Soviet Union aircraft similar to the C-5A, and I guess there's a commercial plane that's supposed to be larger, a commercial version plane that's supposed to be larger. I don't. Nobody knows. It goes back and forth. I don't know how they're doing it, by weight, by wingspan, by actual size, by liftoff weight limits. There's different ways that they come up with what plane is larger. But so there are three of them that are contenders. The C-5A Galaxy is one of them, and those things are actually pretty amazing for something that big. I think it needs less than a 2 mile 2 mile long runway, less than 2 mile long runway to take off. It can take off and land on short runways with a full load. And it's just amazing. I've seen this thing up close. It is literally, it's a building. It's a small skyscraper with wings. I mean, these things are huge. It doesn't. No, it can't maneuver like a fighter jet. You can't do barrel rolls and stuff with it. But pilots that fly it love that thing. So you might want to look into flying the big boys like that, or if you're good enough, you can fly the fighter jets and a bunch of stuff in between. Now, evidently, the Marines are also short on helicopter pilots, helicopter fighter pilots. I would just learn. I would learn how to fly helicopters just to fly one of those nasty birds. I mean, those attack choppers are just incredible. The Apaches and their cousins. Oh my God, those are awesome. You ever seen one of those things up close? I mean, they look mean and intimidating for one, and they really are. The other mean and intimidating thing, it's a slow plane, but it's mean and intimidating, and it's deadly. It's one of the oldest aircraft still flying in military, in any military, and that's the A-10. This thing came out in the 70s. The A-10 Warthog, as it's called. It's an ugly plane. It's less than supersonic. I think its top speed is like 450 miles per hour or something like that. But everybody, when they see these things coming, everybody runs because it's death from the sky. It really is. The enemy run. Look, we've seen some video of it. During Desert Storm, and some other action stuff during the I don't know what Operation Enduring Freedom is this what it's still called, Operation Enduring Freedom? We've seen footage of enemies on the ground. They see these things coming, they run because they are tank killers for one. And you get struck with one of those bullets, you're not living. I mean, it will shred you. Literally, you'll just explode. But in any case, so you'll get to fly stuff like that. Now, I'm too old. I'd love to fly military birds, but military says I'm too old. Now, I don't think I'm too old, but they say I'm too old. So you got to get in before you're 25 or 27 in order to fly. So that gives, you can go to college. You get so even if you're in college, you have a shot. Unless you're, of course, you're one of those stupid, idiotic liberals that spent, Wednesday out there screaming at the sky. Did y'all see that? Did y'all hear about that? It was Scream at the Sky Day. Now, I didn't play any excerpts of it here on my show because I just thought it was inane. I mean, really, these millennials literally gathered to scream at the sky to protest the anniversary of Donald Trump's election as president of the United States. I wish I could make that stuff up. I wish I did, but I can't make that stuff up. Any case, you got a lot to go over this morning, including we're going to spend some time on this Hollywood sex scandal thing. Kevin Spacey's career, everybody's saying it, his career is basically done. Was it Ono? What's her name? Ono, whatever, from Massachusetts is really laying into Kevin Spacey about her 18-year-old son. Last year, 16. Last year on Nantucket in Massachusetts. Saying that her 18-year-old son was groped and fondled by Kevin Spacey. Now that's the alleged. Now she's a news anchor, a former news personality. I know fake news, but she was WBZ is a legendary. Well, in the TV world, I guess, and broadcast news world, it's a legendary station. WBZ out of Boston is what she used to be affiliated or work for WBZ News in Boston. And she's saying her son last year, her son was 18-year-old. So I guess, Kevin Spacey supposedly bought the boy drinks. He's underage, not 21. And by the way, I had some, where is it? Speaking of drinking, got something, where did I see that? Speaking of the drinking, there is some Democrat. Is it a Democrat somewhere is proposing raising the drinking age to 25? I kid you not. Well, it's like the idiot out in Texas who keeps proposing impeachment charges against Trump. Now it's simply not because there's anything to impeach him for. It's just that he doesn't like him. I'm serious. That we have idiots on. I'll find it. Anyway, he wants to raise the legal drinking age to 25. Why not just raise it to 30? Let's just go back to prohibition. I mean, seriously. I mean, it's innate. That's stupid. Well, he wants to protect. The reason is he wants to protect college students. Well, you send off your kid to college and they get involved in, fraternities or something like that, go to frat parties or try to get into a frat or a sorority. And there's a lot of binge drinking going on in college. Remember those energy drinks? Some of those energy drinks with alcohol in them? Yeah, well, college campuses all across the country banned those from campus because too many students were using those to try to stay awake and to party with, and it was just the rush of everything. The kids weren't mature enough those who could legally drink weren't obviously mature enough to be able to handle those alcohol, caffeine-infused beverages. Some of them, I think they put limits on them, right? I still see them in the the gas station coolers. I still see them. So they obviously weren't, outright banned. But there have been some limits put on them. And college campuses have banned them from the campuses, I guess, all across the country. So now there's a gentleman who wants to save our college students by raising the drinking age to 25. If you want to save our college students, how about we fire probably a good 60% of all the professors out there? That might go a long way, because where do you think these kids are getting the idea that they should go out on a Wednesday afternoon, instead of working at the job or studying, go out, go out and scream at the sky. Like that's really going to help them. That's going to get rid of Donald Trump. Yeah, we're going to go and scream at the sky, and that's going to get rid of Trump.
You're listening to me, your lovable host, Rod, here on the Rod Eccles Show.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide. Plus, what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
Got some sad news to report this Friday morning. The actor who played on the Magnum PI TV series. Anybody remember Magnum? And you remember? Well, John, what was the character? My mother used to love this program, and I remember asking my mom why she watched this show, because I sat there and watched an episode with her. I didn't like it. I said, why do you watch this program? Now, here's my, middle-aged mother, 40-something. She actually said this to me. She said, well, Tom Selleck is hot. He's sexy. What? Ooh, no. But anyway, yeah, I've been there. The actor who played Higgins, the uptight Higgins, John Hillerman, has passed away at the age of 84. Now, the funny thing is I was shocked by this because I thought he was already dead. I'm sorry, I did. So it came as a shock to me to find out that, no, he was alive until yesterday. So I was shocked by this when I found the news out late yesterday. I'm like, what? Wait, he was alive? I thought he was already dead. But, no disrespect to the man. He evidently was a very well-liked person, very well thought of, never had any scandals. He definitely hasn't been accused of any sexual harassment or sexual scandal. But he was, I guess he was just genuine. I mean, there are some genuinely nice, true people in Hollywood. And they're still out there today. I don't know where all this is going to end up. Got some news about Corey Haim, by the way. Corey Feldman and Corey Haim. And the idiocy of Corey Haim's mom. But in any case, yes, at the age of 84, John Hillerman, who was in decline, they did not say what ailment he was suffering from, but he was in declining health and passed away peacefully yesterday at the age of 84. That Magnum PI did make me want to visit Hawaii, but so did the what was the other one with the two private detectives with the big helicopter? I think the helicopter was pink too. I forget the name. I watched the season of that. I forget who was even starred in it, but those kind of programs made me want to visit Hawaii. And then as I got older and started learning how liberal the politics and politicians were in Hawaii, I realized it wasn't a paradise. It was a nightmare. And it's only getting worse. No, not Simon & Simon. Simon & Simon was in L.A. There were two they weren't. Simon & Simon were brothers. These detectives were just friends. I think one of the helicopter pilot was a former Vietnam pilot, and of course this was the '80s, so he was still young enough to be, to be in Vietnam, and still be able to fly. And I swear that the helicopter was pink. It was a big, bulky-looking thing. Riptide, yeah, they think that. Thank you, Kevin. It was Riptide. That's the title of it. Anybody remember that? I know I'm dating myself. I did like Riptide. I watched this. I don't know how long it was on. I did watch a season of Riptide. Yeah, that's how memorable it was. I couldn't even remember the title of the program. In any case, we're going to get into some of this stuff with sexual allegations, and this stuff is just getting out of hand. Now, obviously some of this stuff is not going to be true, and unfortunately, we're going to have to parse through it. Now, understand, do not doubt me on this. Some of the stuff that is being thrown out there is being thrown out there for one, politics, and two, protectionism for Hollywood, because this stuff is getting serious and accurate. Now, obviously, Kevin Spacey is not around to defend himself because he's flown off to someplace in Europe with Weinstein to get treatment for his sexual addiction, I guess. I don't know how you do that. It was called the Screaming Mimi. Was it pink? Anyway, what was the, was it Jan Michael Vincent? Airwolf? Anybody remember Airwolf? The things he did with a helicopter back then, I don't think they can do that with helicopters today. But my dad liked Airwolf. He also liked the A-Team. To this day, I have no idea why my father liked the A-Team, but he used to watch the A-Team. And we used to watch Knight Rider together. The fond memories, yes. Michael Knight and Kit. All those wonderful. And you look at some of those programs, because they play them on some of the lesser cable channels, like or at Nick at Night, and you watch TV Land, and you watch some of these, and you just ask yourself, why the hell did we watch this stuff back then? But they were big hits. Knight Rider was on for a few years. The Hoff became a major star because of Knight Rider. And that led to him being able to do and become a part producer at some point, one of the producers of Baywatch, which really exploded his popularity. But yeah, he was a soap opera actor in the 70s, right? He was a model and soap opera actor, and then he became a TV star. Isn't that what all? Isn't that what all models aspire to be? They all aspire to be actors. Hey, if you can do it, go ahead. But anyway, I digress. We're going to get into some of this stuff with these sexual allegations. We'll talk about, got some stuff here that is just, it's kind of mind-blowing. And I'm not going to let this stuff go. One, because it's a pedophilia ring, and I'm with Corey Feldman. Now, I've never been in Hollywood, so I've never been a child star, but I can tell you there are more child stars than not who are talking. or have talked.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and practice an escape plan for you and your loved ones. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
Have you mixed your pain meds, your sleep meds, your allergy meds? Call the Poison Helpline. Has your child eaten a tube of toothpaste, a chip of paint, a wild mushroom? Call the Poison Helpline. Have you been bitten by a spider, a snake, an insect? Call the Poison Helpline. Poisonings can happen at the home, on the job, or in the great outdoors. Call the Poison Helpline first for fast, free advice from medical professionals. Call 1-800-222-1222 anytime, anywhere. 1-800-222-1222. Save the number, save a life. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Hi, I'm Hillary Duff. As a mom, I'm proud to support the March of Dimes in helping more women have full-term pregnancies and healthy babies. That's why I walk in March for Babies. The money we raise funds research and local programs that help babies overcome the challenges of premature birth and birth defects. Sign up today at marchforbabies.org. Together, we can help make healthier babies possible for thousands of families.
It's pretty amazing when you consider that 7 years ago, we didn't have the treatments we have now. We cure 80% of children with cancer. Go back 50 years, we were curing 20 to 30%. This is the miracle story of modern medicine. We understand what makes this cancer tick. And of course, without donors from around the world, this just couldn't happen. There's one thing we're focused on, and that's beating this thing.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
America's wounded warriors are coming home. After serving on foreign shores, these brave men and women are returning to their families and communities. Many have wounds you can see, and many have wounds you can't see, like post-traumatic stress disorder. Now that these warriors are back home, they are ready to enter the civilian workforce. To help, Wounded Warrior Project has developed the Warriors to Work program, a career counseling service that helps warriors translate their military experience to the civilian workplace. These extraordinary men and women bring proven world-class job skills and a unique perspective on teamwork to the job. And to ensure the right warrior finds the right job, Wounded Warrior Project works with employers to find just the right match. When you hire a wounded warrior, you hire an intelligent, talented, and committed new employee. Contact Wounded Warrior Project at findwwp.org. Welcome home the brave.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show. Let truth be told.
Get to all the Hollywood and other place sex scandal stuff and Corey Haimsbaum and everything. Let's get a little bit into the paper pile to get rid of some of this stuff. Hey, did you hear this? Bo Bergdahl, you know, the guy who's been found guilty of desertion. Yeah, good old Bo. Looking at this story, did you know that Bo's got a female fan club? Yeah, there are some women out there that just find him totally and completely adorable, just by his looks. I don't necessarily see it. I mean, he's not a bad-looking guy. I just didn't think he was what females would call gorgeous. But it must be the uniform. Okay, but that's not the story. The story is that Bo Bergdahl. Well, I mean, it doesn't matter if he's guilty of desertion or not. I mean, if he's a good-looking guy, he's just a good-looking guy. Women are just going to fall for that, I suppose. You know, it's just stupid millennials. But anyway, he could be eligible to get $300,000 worth of back pay and benefits. I'm not joking here. Now, Bergdahl has pleaded guilty to desertion in combat and misbehavior before the enemy. But because he did not get any jail time, taxpayers, you and me, may owe him some $300,000 plus in back pay and benefits. I kid you not. And since Bergdahl was not sentenced to any prison time on charges of leaving his post in Afghanistan and misbehavior before the enemy, he could have ample time to spend the money. Yes, that is the story. It is goofy, but Bergdahl could be entitled to a large sum of money for willingly walking off his army post in Paktika province in mid-2009 and then spending several years in Taliban captivity. God only knows what was going through his mind to do that. Really, he was lucky he wasn't shot by the Taliban. Which leads some people to wonder this wasn't desertion, this was treason. Look, I'm not going to get into the nuances. I don't know everything that happened. I don't know everything that was said in during the trial. But it does strike me as being kind of odd and funny, too, that he would be in U.S. military uniform where he walks off his post, and doesn't get shot. But in any case, so you have he could get $300,000 in benefits because he wasn't sentenced. Now, if he'd gone to jail, by the way, he was demoted. He was busted down from sergeant to private and given a dishonorable discharge. But yeah, he could still be eligible to get, some $300,000 or more in back pay and benefits for desertion, being found guilty of desertion and misbehavior before the enemy. Twitter is destroying itself by expanding to 280 characters. I guess this is for reals, folks. If you don't think that the brevity is soul of wit, Twitter may agree with you, because evidently they are going to expand, basically doubling what you. Well, there are alternative services out there that allow 280 or 300 characters versus Twitter's 140. So I guess people don't have to be, don't have to be brief anymore on now when this is taking place. Twitter has not posted when they were going to make this change or if it was finalized as of yet. But they are seriously, I guess they're in the process of making the change from 140 to 280 characters. Will that change how you view Twitter? I don't think so. Not for me. Global warming is happening, but not the way you think. No. No, stay with me, folks. I know somebody just heard that and probably went off the deep end. They're like, Rod, you're an anti-global. What the hell are you talking about? Now, stay with me here. Even NASA discovers this now. There is some global warming. Now, understand that inside the Earth is very hot. Underneath your feet, it gets very, very hot the deeper you go. Well, NASA discovers that there is a mantle plume in Antarctica, and it's melting the ice of Antarctica from the ground. Now, we don't have anything to do with the Earth's mantle. Well, I shouldn't say that. There are probably some people thinking the Earth is getting hotter under the crust because of fracking. Yeah, there are anti-frackers that blame fracking for all kinds of things. The Earth is shifting on its axis because of fracking, and the earthquakes in China are happening because of fracking in Tennessee or something. These people are just absolutely insane. They're just like global warming people, man-made climate change people. They're just insane, and they will come up with all kinds of proof, quote unquote proof that they're right. And science, real legitimate science, legit science, debunks it every single time. But anyway, NASA discovers mantle plume that's melting Antarctica from below. So if there's ice melting in Antarctica, it isn't because another blow to the man-made global warming, man-made global climate change scenario. Yeah, it's not. Hey, it's good old Mother Earth herself that's doing the damage here. If there is damage. Researchers at NASA have discovered a huge upwelling of hot rock under Marie Byrd Land, which lies between the Ross Ice Shelf and the Ross Sea, is creating vast lakes of rivers under the ice sheet. Now, the presence of huge mantle plume could explain why the region is so unstable today and why it collapsed so quickly at the end of the last ice age 11,000 years ago, and why ice is collapsing and falling off into the sea right now. Mantle plumes are thought to be part of the plumbing system that brings hot material up from the Earth's interior. Once it gets through the mantle, it spreads out under the crust, providing magma for volcanic eruptions. The area above a plume is known as a hot spot. So there's hot spots in Antarctica. Get your bathing suits on. If you're a penguin, you better start running away from the hot spot, because it is going to get more. Well, it's causing water. The ice is melting, causing rivers, and that's causing flow. It's causing other ice sheets to move. And of course, this is why and they're finding this is why some of the ice shelf in Antarctica seems to be growing, but it's not really growing. It's moving. And it's not being supported. It gets out over the ocean, and there's not land underneath supporting. See, there's a lot of continent, actual land under all that ice in Antarctica. I mean, it's an actual continent. There are all kinds of theories about Antarctica, that it was once green and lush and jungle-like, and I guess before man was even on the planet, was responsible for a massive climate change and upheaval on the planet that caused Antarctica to go cold. Because that's where Atlantis is, by the way. Or no, not Atlantis. Aliens. And there's an alien base there. So it's not the magma that's causing the ice to melt. It's an alien base that's causing the ice to melt. I'm just saying, folks. I mean, yeah, we can go all George Noory here if we want to. I can be George Noory-esque with the best of them. Trust me. I don't believe in most of it. 99% of it is garbage. But hey, I can spout it. I've heard it. I've listened to it. You drive sometimes late at night, and the only thing on when you're traveling. When I'm traveling between here and Syracuse back home or coming back home, it's late at night. I'd rather there's no traffic on the throughway system late at night, and there's fewer cops, so you don't get harassed by speeding tickets, as it were. Less of an opportunity to get a speeding ticket at 1 a.m. But the only thing that's on is the George Noory stuff. So, coast. You hear this stuff. It's pretty. Because you get tired of listening to music, because they play the same damn songs over and over again. And no, I don't listen to country music, so I won't do that. So I'll just turn on, just to try to engage because music is just mind-numbing, actually. You could easily be lulled into falling asleep at the wheel listening to music. But listening to Coast and George Noory, it kind of keeps you awake because you get engaged and you think, are these people are they for reals? Are they serious? Well, there are people that are, I heard an episode, there are people that are dead serious about there being an alien base that we know about in Antarctica. So I'm guessing the energy usage from that base is what's actually melting everything, and NASA is trying to cover their tracks now by saying it's a magma plume. Well, just like the chemtrails in the sky, nobody's going to buy the magma plume story. It's anyway. Coast to coast. If you're up at 3:00 in the morning, it might keep you awake because you'll be yelling at your radio at how stupid people can be. Now he gets some, and by the way, he gets some very learned sounding folks, and some folks with some pretty impressive credentials to talk about this alternative stuff, from aliens to, I don't know, all kinds of weird stuff. But yeah, he does. George finds these people. And they're more than willing to talk about what their craziness on the air. And if I'm not mistaken, Noory is the most popular overnight. He's 6 hours too, isn't he? He's like midnight to 6 a.m. He's the most popular overnight syndicated radio show. I guess it keeps people awake. That's all I can say. And finally, in this run of topics here, there's a question mark. Everybody's. Look. The DNC, the Democratic Party, is in such disarray that they're even. You know what? This whole win in Virginia, the gubernatorial race in Virginia, Gillespie didn't win. Nobody expected him to win. And the Democrats didn't gain a gubernatorial seat because it was already in the Democrats' hands. But they're calling this a huge victory for them and a huge defeat for Trump. Well, first of all, Gillespie never endorsed Trump. Trump never endorsed Gillespie. But nonetheless, the Democrats and the mainstream media are running around talking about this being a huge victory. One election. Huge victory for Democrats. They're on their way back. When everybody expected them to win. But somehow it was an upset and a defeat for Trump. Well, that's because they're in disarray. They don't know their backside from their front side, their top side from their a-hole, if you know what I mean. Because they're what? Well, you got this Donna Brazil stuff, and there was somebody out there yesterday talking about, well, the reason why Brazil is out there is because she's trying to clear the decks for a Michelle Obama run for the presidency in 2020 or 2024. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I wish she would run. But anyway, that's probably not a good thing. Don't wish that she would run because she has a good chance of winning, believe it or not. Hey, what's more historic than the first black president or the first female president? The first black female president. Do you think that the press can run with that? The media could run with that? Well, they're saying here, they're asking the question, is Hillary Clinton running again in 2020? Hillary aides launch new super PAC. Even when you think that you're finally have gotten rid of these people just will not go away. NBC News reports that former aides of Hillary Clinton have launched a new super PAC that looks an awful lot like a campaign. Party majority, NBC reports, will act as a parallel structure to Democratic Party committees at the national and state levels while remaining in the hands of the Clinton world. So one of two scenarios here. Either she's thinking that at 74 and in ill health she's going to run again, or she's launching her own party because she's being basically thrown aside by the DNC. One of those two, they just cannot be out of the spotlight. They cannot let it go. They've got to remain in the line because, after all, they're grooming Chelsea for a run at public office. And I don't think that the DNC is going to, the new DNC is going to embrace a Chelsea Clinton, but a super PAC that is funded and run by Bill and Hillary Clinton? Oh yeah, of course. That'll fund everything that that Chelsea needs. Of course.
Hello, America. It's me, your history. I remember a time when we thumbed our nose in a king's face, sent him packing. And when fascists and emperors talked a little bit too loud, we showed up, tore their cities to the ground, and then rebuilt them just to prove we could. We put men on the moon, we won a Cold War, and we elected fearless leaders who led fearless people. What the hell happened to you, America? Back in my day, we didn't elect a big-eared community organizer. We punched him in the kidney. Maybe it's time you came home, America. Home where you belong.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
This is Free America broadcasting on the Rod Eccles Show with a message to all patriots trapped behind the lines in California, New York, Boston, and Chicago. Don't give up, true lovers of America. Even as we speak, moves are being made to drive the invaders back to the land from which they came, defeat the would-be dictators, and lift the chains of tyranny from around your neck. Stay strong. Stay brave. You're not forgotten, and you're not alone. Until next time, patriots, this is Free America signing out.
verdict. Yes, indeed, there is a verdict in hand. Anybody remember when Walmart got, well, there was a gentleman who fell down and could not get up at Walmart when he was trying to buy a watermelon? Yeah, the Walmart shopper, Henry Walker, who was 59 at the time, he broke his foot and hip while trying to pick up and buy a watermelon at a Walmart store. Well, he's an Alabama man who said he tripped and broke his foot and hip while buying a watermelon at Walmart. Has won, well, basically the first round, because you know Walmart isn't going to stand for this, but won the first round of his lawsuit against the retail giant. Now, Walker had sued Walmart store, saying that his foot became trapped in a pallet beneath the watermelons at a Phoenix City, Alabama Walmart on June 25th back in 2015. So a little over 2 years later, he gets a verdict of $7.5 million. Yeah, you heard that right, folks. $7.5 million verdict for breaking his foot and hip while trying to buy a watermelon because he says his foot became trapped in a pallet beneath the watermelons. This is about as bad as the woman who spilled coffee. How much did that woman who spilled coffee on herself from McDonald's get? And her daughter even went on the air and tried to defend. She had to go through lots of surgeries, man. It was painful. Well, yeah, because she's the one that put the hot coffee between her legs. She's the one that spilled it on herself. It wasn't McDonald's fault. So this is the same thing. If you're going to watch where you're walking. I mean, were you so enticed by the the juicy watermelons that you couldn't watch where you were stepping? I don't. This world is a well. The interesting thing is that there's another story here about lawsuits are down in this country. Believe it or not, yeah, I think we've hit the bot. This is probably why we're seeing a plethora of lawyer TV commercials, trying to get people to lawyer up for even the stupidest things. And we got a bunch of them here in New England. I mean, you constantly see, which lawyer is tougher, harder hitting, more aggressive, and I couldn't just by watching the commercials, I couldn't tell you who to go to. It always comes up with the last commercial I seen. That's the name that I remember. The last lawyer commercial I saw was by a firm called Morgan & Morgan, and they're like their job compensation is their big thing. You get hurt on the job, they'll go after your employer or former employer for whatever. Really? This is what they're advertising. But there's a ton of them. Somebody named Stone and Weinstein or Weinstar, whatever. There's a whole bunch of them out there. And as I said, that's the last one I saw. So if I saw whatever the commercial that I've seen last is probably the lawyer office that I remember, because none of them seem to be really all that credible. They're all ambulance chasers in my book. Well, yeah, it is what it is. I don't suggest people just go out willy-nilly and sue people because you broke your foot because you were a clumsy dumbass.
Call Rod now, 603-835-3226. Lines are open.
Have you ever thought to yourself, I'm a leftist elite Hollywood a-hole? If so, good news. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College is now open, featuring such courses as unemployment is not paid vacation. No, Americans don't want to spend $19 for an order of French fries, and the ever popular shut the hell up. Why, just listen to this big-time celebrity endorsement.
I'm not Rosie O'Donnell, and I think this school's offensive, sexist, and racist.
And I think you're a giant a-hole who needs to shut the hell up. Hey, we teach a course in that. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College, where being an a-hole is not a guarantee you'll be an A student.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. Woo! There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and always stay in the kitchen when cooking at high temperatures. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
And now, a message from the American Migraine Foundation.
It's an absolute nightmare. I was terrified. It was like your head's gonna explode.
Migraine is a disabling disease.
Just all of a sudden couldn't see.
Migraine has ruined my life.
Absolutely terrifying.
There's pain that does not stop.
It's a throbbing, pulsing, banging, hammering feeling in your head.
36 million Americans suffer.
I started getting migraines around 5 years old.
Just takes over everything.
I feel trapped by migraine.
It hurts like my head's gonna fall off.
And the whole world around you stops.
My world has gotten small.
You feel like the world's closing in on you. There's nothing you can do.
I had spent a year housebound. It's like you're trapped in your head. There's no escaping it. You can't leave your body.
Don't suffer alone. Make your move against migraine. Visit AmericanMigraineFoundation.org to find help, learn more, and get connected.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The human voice. It can be sweet as music, powerful as thunder,
And so, my fellow Americans,
cheerful as laughter. But for millions of people, it can also be a sign of COPD. This serious lung disease can make it so hard to breathe, you often can't catch a breath or finish a sentence, let alone carry a tune. And many who have COPD don't even know it. That's where your voice comes in. If you think you or a loved one have symptoms, talk with a healthcare provider. Early diagnosis can mean better treatments and quality of life. Join us in raising our voices for the millions with COPD who can't. Learn more, breathe better at NIH.gov.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge. It's a Friday. Here it is, hour number 2 on the Rod Eccles Show. Thanks for being here, all you liberty lovers and ecclesiastites all across the globe. It is a Friday. Welcome to Freedom Friday. November number 10 in the year of our Lord 2017. And as we do with every Friday, we take things a little bit lighter. Sure, we still tackle some of the heavy stuff, but we try to take things a little bit lighter with some other lighter fare and information as we slide on into the weekend as an attempt to celebrate our growing amount of freedom. Once again, but it's trying to be halted. Not by the left as you would expect, but by our own Republican GOP, simply because they don't like Trump. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense at all, actually. But in any case, well, it's Friday, folks, and tomorrow is Veterans Day. So again, if you are a vet, past or present, thank you very much for your service, and I hope you have a wonderful day tomorrow. If you definitely go, I used to do this. Well, I don't do it so much anymore because I don't go to Starbucks or places like that too often anymore. But whenever I see a gentleman that I know is a vet, they're usually wearing something that would suggest not a full uniform, but they might have a hat, their naval vessel hat on when they were in World War II or Korea or something like that, and or they'll have a jacket on with a patch. And I'll always go up and shake their hand and say, thank you for your service and your sacrifice. God bless you. And I can't tell you how many times, these guys, they turn and they say, like, and even a couple of female. Although it's a little bit more difficult for a guy to approach a female. They're a little bit, you got to be a little bit more delicate, especially nowadays, I'm sure, with all this sexual harassment talk going on. But the gentlemen always, especially the older guys, they always say, you're welcome. It's just, I even had one guy, I was in a Boston market. Him and his buddy were in Boston. They were World War II? No, they were Korean War vets. On two different naval ships. They were wearing their Navy hats. They were on two different, one was on a destroyer and the other one was on a cruiser. And so they were eating lunch, and I just went up to, I said, gentlemen, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but I noticed your hats. I just want to thank you so much for your service and your sacrifice. And they both looked at me and sort of kind of stunned, actually. But they both said thank you. Now, before they left, one of them came over and asked if I wanted his hat. I said, well, no, sir, I couldn't take your hat. He goes, no, trust me, I have a lot of them. He says, no, you earned the hat, sir. I did not. But that was kind of interesting. So, no, I didn't accept his gift because I didn't earn the hat. But anyway, I did thank him profusely for the generosity and the honor, but I didn't earn it. I wasn't on the ship. I didn't earn it. Now, I know some people are saying, well, Rod, why didn't you take it? Why didn't you? Because I did not earn it. Plain and simple. I mean, there are too many wannabes and fakers out there. Didn't we even have somebody running for Congress or the Senate that lied about his service? How dumb do you got to be to do that? Especially maybe 30 years ago you could have gotten away with that. But in today's world with the internet, where it's easy for anybody to do a Google or an Ask search about somebody and look you up on Wikipedia or other places, it's just stupid to lie about stuff like that. Just absolutely inane. But I don't. You don't remember the people, I guess, who are often that stupid. But in any case, yeah. So if you're out and about tomorrow, we should do this on a daily basis. But definitely, if you're out and about tomorrow and you happen to see a vet, male or female, yeah. If you're male, you got to be a little bit more ginger with your approaching a female vet. But approach a vet, say thank you. Attempt to shake their hand. You might actually get a hug from one. I was hugged by one once. That was kind of surprising, and it took me by surprise because I didn't reach for the hug. He did. I went shake it. She went to shake his hand. He grabbed my hand to shake it and pulled me in and hugged me. That was in Target. Yeah, isn't that kind of interesting? I was in a Target store. I was in a Target store. I'll never forget it. He was a Vietnam vet. He had the Vietnam patches he was wearing a vest, and he had Vietnam patches on his vest. And I just said, thank you for your service. And he grabbed, I went to shake his hand. He grabbed my hand, pulled me in, and hugged me. Now, I am guessing that this guy probably, it has been rare that he's been thanked. He's probably used to being spat upon and called all kinds of names. But, yeah, so that guy hugged me. That was kind of surprising. You know how gratifying that is, though? Honestly, really. So, Veterans Day tomorrow. It should be Hug a Vet Day. Really. That's what it should be. Go around, where is the guy in New York City? Is it Garrick still a guy in New York City that's offering free hugs to people on the street? I don't. Well, it is what it is. Tomorrow is Veterans Day, so thank a vet. There is in some of this sexual well, first of all, let me get to the New York Times. New York Times is suing a Queens, New York woman who they claimed posed as one of its journalists for at least 2 years. Yeah, again, from the annals of you cannot make this stuff up. New York Times filed a lawsuit against Contessa Bourbon. Yeah, that's her name. Contessa Bourbon, Bourbon. Speaking of bourbon, last night I found out that we have a spirit distillery in the Monadnock region, Keene, New Hampshire area of New Hampshire. It's new. And their claim to fame is that they have the smoothest, best spirits in the world. Bourbon. They distill bourbon, they distill moonshine, they distill vodka, just just a few of the American, vodka's not an American variety, but bourbon is a very American variety. Moonshine is a very American variety of alcohol. So they distilled it in maple-infused whiskey and vodka. Now, I didn't even know they existed until last night. So I'm going to have to take a trip probably out there sometime during the holiday season and get some. Try out some of their good stuff. But it just came to mind because her last name is Bourbon. So they filed a lawsuit against the New York Times filed a lawsuit against Contessa Bourbon on Thursday. Now, the paper claims that the woman has posed as one of its reporters for at least 2 years. On social media, Bourbon calls herself a New York Times reporter and has on multiple occasions posted photos of herself covering stories. Now, the Times claims the Queens woman has ignored their request to Why would you run around and pretend that you are a New York Times reporter when you're not? There is something mentally wrong with this Contessa Bourbon. I mean, all the things that you could fake being, people of power or Hollywood star or something, you're going to fake being a reporter for the New York Times? What did she pretend like she had a Pulitzer Prize too? The New York Times has filed a lawsuit against this woman. According to the New York Daily News, Contessa Bourbon in 2015 represented herself as a reporter for the Times at a Brookings Institute event, asking questions and interviewing the Turkish ambassador. The suit claims. So she was interviewing people. Well, I don't know. Maybe she was doing the job that the Times was, real reporters weren't doing. We don't know who this woman really is or what she did, but the suit claims that Bourbon has a false business card and ignored demands from the paper to stop passing herself off as one of its reporters. But she got into a Brookings Institute event and was able to ask questions of a Turkish ambassador. She was able to ask questions of Education Secretary Betsy DeVos. She's asked questions like a real reporter, evidently, of a bunches of people over the past few years. Now, she actually describes herself on Facebook and Twitter as a New York Times journalist. Now, anybody remember, was it Office Space? Now, remember the guy at the stapler? It's my stapler, my stapler. Now, I just wonder if the New York Times has forgotten maybe that they hired her at some point. Well, I mean, now I'm not saying this is going to happen, but if the New York Times goes down in flames, and maybe Contessa Bourbon might be the main suspect, but you can't make this stuff up. Now, on as late as November 1st of this year, she wrote on Twitter, "News I wrote, President Trump backs American victims of terrorism." It's not clear what story she was referring to, and the suit claims that last month that Bourbon contacted the office of a member of Congress and asked for an invitation to the Congressional Gold Medal Award ceremony as a Times reporter. Well, looks like she's doing the job of real reporters, even though she may not be one. Contessa Bourbon. Now, she looks like she's of Filipino descent. Now, that doesn't mean that she is, but I'm just saying she looks like it. She could still be an American. But in any case, congratulations to her for putting one over on, I don't know, New York Times maybe? And maybe doing the New York Times job for them, because they sure as hell don't really do their jobs too well anymore. Just saying. Fake reporter is better than a real reporter. Go figure that one.
You're listening to the Rod Eccles Show, the coolest, most politically incorrect, conservative black man on the planet.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
You know, a couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said to me, I bet you won't lend me money to buy an electric guitar. Well, he was making $100 a week, and he was over 18, and I said, I bet you I will lend you money to buy an electric guitar. And I did. So what happens? The punk gets busted for possession of dangerous drugs, and we're out $350. There's one thing about kids nowadays. You don't have to give them credit.
Universal Bank. We trust you. About as far as we can throw you.
I'm not saying that this Contessa Bourbon shouldn't be held accountable for saying, well, it's not a crime. She didn't commit a crime, and it doesn't say that she has caused the Times any harm. Now, I don't know where her stuff is published. The article didn't say, and I didn't go look it up, but I just find it fascinating. Now, this woman is able to get into places where they're supposed to only be for the press. And she's not only getting in, she's asking real questions, evidently. So, people, colleagues, well, I guess they're really not colleagues, but colleagues think that she's the real deal. And she's doing so well at pretending to be the real deal that the New York Times themselves noticed and said, wait a minute, she's not one of ours. She doesn't belong. Anyway, so I'm just going to say good for Contessa Bourbon. But although, why pretend that you work for that silly rag mag? But in any case, what we have going on out in Hollywood is L.A. prosecutors are forming a special Hollywood sexual assault task force. Now, this is folks, you got to understand. This is major. Now, going to get into a little bit of the seriousness of the day here. And what is happening in Hollywood right now, it's coming out of Hollywood. the tentacles. This is just like Stranger Things, man. Those tentacles, they're insidious, they're incestuous, they're running deep and far and wide across this country. And this all broke out because of Harvey Weinstein. True, but that's not the only reason. He's not the only reason, obviously. Now you've got the LAPD, the Los Angeles Police Department, seriously looking into the allegations as levied by Corey Haim, who now says that he's fearing for his very life. And some people say, oh, that's being overly dramatic. Well, Donna Brazile wrote that she was in fear of her own life, too. I mean, she saw what happened. She even mentions it in her book. She saw what happened to Seth Rich, and she says, yeah, I put my shades down and closed my curtains and all that kind of. I was scared. Scared. So what is happening in Hollywood right now is that the elite of the elite in every area of Hollywood is being exposed. Now, sure, some of them are probably being falsely accused. I mean, but some of them there are multiple. It's easy for you to poo-poo one or two allegations. I didn't hire them to do this movie or whatever, so they're just mad at me. But when you have multiple people, and it seems like all it takes is just one person to launch an allegation, and then all of a sudden it seems like a plethora of others who claim to have been a victim of this person are now feel free to come forward. It's never just one person. Of late, it seems like one person comes forward, and before the week is done, a half dozen other people. And I say people because it used to be just women, but now it's men. Men are accusing other men. And multiple men are accusing some women. There's more than one person that has accused Mariah Carey now of sexual harassment. Again, I'm as beautiful as Mariah Carey is, even if she wasn't a diva, I wouldn't think that she would need to do such a thing. But, being a diva and think you have all this money and power gives people start thinking that they have special privileges. And they start doing things that ordinary people of their stature would not do. Now, I say stature, I mean, well, there are a lot of beautiful women out there, and none of them do what Mariah Carey is accused of doing right now. I'm just saying. So we have all these allegations that are coming out, and you got to start asking yourself, well, why now? Why now? When allegations of this caliber have been levied, not as many people have come forward, definitely not some A-listers, but when allegations like this have been levied about Hollywood for decades, I mean, the Hollywood casting couch, there have been starlets of days gone by that have lamented and talked about the casting couch, and everybody in Hollywood, says, oh, that's just a story, that really never happened, that doesn't happen. And now we're finding out not only did it happen, but it still happens, and it's prolific. And it's not limited to wannabe starlets. Boys and young men are being exposed to this kind of garbage. That's it is bad enough when you sexually assault or grope an adult male or female. But when you do it to an innocent child who cannot in any way defend themselves, that's just evil. It's just evil. And these people have been getting away with it for decades. Something called that's part of the reason, maybe we'll reinvestigate that pizza parlor in D.C., the pedophilia pizza parlor ring. Remember that, folks?
Dad, we need to talk.
Can we just enjoy the drive?
If you're not going to listen to me, who will we listen to?
Jeffrey.
Marcia Gay Harden, what?
Eyes on the road, Dad.
What are you doing? What are you doing in my back seat? How did you get in here?
You're getting older.
Not that old.
Your brain's changing. It's natural.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Honey, I've got experience with this. Jeffrey, brain health is all about making the most of your brain as you age and helping to reduce some of the risks to your brain.
Really? Now that's interesting.
So, you'll talk to her about this, but not me. Marcia Gay Harden? Where did she go?
Learn what you can do to help keep your brain healthy at brainhealth.gov. She didn't say goodbye? I mean, I would have. Visit brainhealth.gov.
Every day, 70,000 puppies or kittens are born in the U.S. Cute, right? What's not cute is that half of all litters are accidents, which leads to millions killed in shelters each year. Turns out, those little cuties can get pregnant sooner than you think. But here's the good news. You can stop the accident before it happens. When you bring home a pet, get them fixed at 4 months old. Prevent more. Fix at month 4. Visit fixat4.com for more information. Brought to you by Best Friends Animal Society.
There's a threat targeting America. One that's growing fast, but may still be hard to see. Lyme disease. Spread by tiny ticks, often smaller than the head of a pin. This dangerous disease is now more widespread than West Nile, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS combined. And if left untreated, it can lead to arthritis, facial paralysis, and even memory and concentration problems, often called brain fog. As the threat of Lyme disease grows to more than 300,000 projected cases each year, it's time for us to target Lyme disease. That means checking for ticks when you've been outside, even in your own backyard. It means seeing a doctor if you experience the symptoms of Lyme disease, which can include joint pain, flu-like symptoms, fever, fatigue, or sometimes a bullseye-shaped rash. Set your sights on stopping Lyme. Learn how you can target Lyme disease at targetlyme.org.
Battles aren't won solely on the field. That's a common misconception. Battles are won within, over enemies of fear, enemies of doubt. In that place where promises are kept. Promises to oneself.
This is a physical training event!
Promises to one's community.
Helping people move debris out of their house.
Promises to one's country. In the heart of every Marine, you'll find a promise. A promise forever kept. A promise of battles won.
We're here early before they wake up. We stay late, we stay informed, we invest in the latest technology.
We take the time to train the next generation of doctors and nurses. We work together to make sure we heal their bodies and their minds.
We do this not because it's our job, but because this is about our veterans' lives. This is our mission. More than 300,000 of us working as one, together with families and loved ones. No matter where they live in this country, we'll be there.
We all come together and stand together to serve our veterans. We stand strong, united. Stand with us in caring for our veterans.
Hi, this is Kelsey Grammer. When military service members head into battle, none are expected to face the enemy alone, but many return home and become isolated as they struggle with the visible and invisible wounds of war. It can be difficult knowing how to overcome that challenge and rekindle bonds similar to those formed in the military. Wounded Warrior Project supports these injured veterans through their recoveries by connecting them with fellow warriors and their communities. No one should fight this battle alone. Join us at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Call Rod now, 666-603-835-3226.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Here we go. Gonna delve into this Hollywood sex scandal stuff a little bit. And it's not just Hollywood, but I guess you could say it started out there in Hollywood with the Harvey Weinstein thing. And it's kind of, well, as we can say, we're glad that it's being exposed, but you got to ask the question, why now? No, my question is not why now. My question is, I've got a couple of questions. One of the questions is Bill Clinton scared? And is Bill Clinton ready to run off to Europe to get sexual addiction treatment? Well, evidently he's still a dirty old. Now he's a dirty old man because he's old. What is he, like 70 something now? 70 plus. So you have these people that have been doing this kind of thing for years. Now, in order to pull a lot of this off, by the way, especially for the younger people who have parents, now they've got to somehow spirit away the child and separate them from the parent. Now, that's easier said than done with some kids versus others. Now, if you've got parents much like, Drew Barrymore, I mean, she's the one that talked about her own lack of parental supervision, going out to parties at the age of like 12 and 13, and her mom didn't either care or know. Not very good parenting there. I mean, this is what Drew Barrymore said. Nobody else is saying this. This is what she said. So if that's the case, that's not very good parenting. And this is the case with other. I mean, look at Macaulay Culkin was all over the place as a child, hanging out with people, adults that he shouldn't have been hanging out with. Now I don't think he's claimed to have been abused by anybody. At least not. He hasn't officially said. But there are those who speculate and wonder and say this is why the kid went off the deep end early when he first turned and became an adult. He went and got married at the age of like 18, ridiculous. Started doing drugs, got divorced, and really messed up his life and his career. And there are people that are close to him that did say it was because he was abused, sexually abused. Well, he was an adorable little kid. Now, he may not be so adorable looking now. He looks a mess, but as a kid, he was adorable. And anybody remember him in things like Richie Rich and The Good Son? I mean, he was growing up to be a really cute young man. And all of a sudden, he was done. And a lot of people, some people are saying, well, it's because his mother, I think, was his manager, and people didn't want to work with his mother or his father, one of the two, one of his parents. His parents divorced, and one of his parents was still, and they said they didn't want to work with parents anymore as managers because they were just too difficult to work. My thing is, I don't think that was the case. Looking back at everything that is said that's been going on. And even Elijah Wood has said, yes, there is a pedo ring, and that he himself was not abused, but he knows of other big-name child stars who were. And Elijah Wood let it be insinuated that Macaulay was one of them. Now, he didn't say it. Obviously, Corey Feldman is saying that Corey Haim was abused and even raped. Now, this is where this gets really, really crazy, people. And it gets very difficult to answer the question of why all this is coming out now. But here's the story. Corey Haim's mother is insisting that the allegation against Charlie Sheen about him raping at the age of 19 her then 13-year-old son, Corey Haim, during the movie Lucas did not happen. But she claims somebody else did. Well, you gotta ask the question, first of all, okay, I don't know, what's his, Corey's mom, what did you know and when did you know it? And why are you now just saying it? Your son went through an adult life of hell because what was alleged to have happened to him, and everybody was denying it, except Corey Feldman. And now you're coming out backing up Corey Feldman, but saying it wasn't Charlie, it was somebody else? So you're acknowledging that your son was raped during the filming of the movie Lucas when he was 13 or 14 years old, and you did nothing. She is on record as saying this now. She says, and I quote, "It wasn't him," referring to Charlie Sheen. "It was someone else." I don't, folks, and you gotta wonder why this stuff has been able to be perpetrated and go on for decade after decade after decade. And it's simply because you have stage mothers and stage fathers like this woman, evidently, who seems to know stuff but ignores it. All for the promise of their child being a star and big dollars come rolling into the family. Hollywood is a money machine. It's a cash magnet. And it's a fame. Everybody wants the fame. Everybody wants the money and fame. Well, now more and more people just want the fame, even if they don't get all the money. I mean, that's I often look at this stuff like, he or she's an Instagram star or a YouTube star. They're not making hardly a dime, but they're stars. They're celebrities. So it's all about the fame now. Even if the money doesn't come, it's all about the fame. Who's this other? I get inundated with my Instagram feed sometimes with this kid. He's a YouTube and Instagram star, a big YouTube star, I guess. The name of a city, Dallas. Cameron Dallas. Who is this kid? I have no idea. And why is he in commercials now on my Instagram feed? I had one this morning. I was looking at Instagram because there are people that I follow, some photographers especially, and you scroll down and there's an ad for a fashion ad for some shoe, I guess, and there's this kid Cameron. I don't know who the hell is Cameron Dallas, and why is he being advertised to me as some sort of fashion guru? I got more fashion sense than this kid does. But okay. But that's what it's all about. It's all about the fame. And somehow he got the fame. That's how we got Justin Bieber. It's YouTube that did it to us. He became famous on YouTube, and then he got the contract and the money. I guess that's why they all do it, because they think if they get noticed, they'll get the money eventually. But everybody's out there to be famous. And so nobody wants to do anything that harms that pathway to fame. So if a parent, if their child gets sexually abused, they can overlook that because the kid's future is going to be secure because they're going to be a child star and an adult star and they'll have all this money, right? But we know throughout history, time after time, year after year, decade after decade, this Hollywood has chewed up and spat out child stars like you would not believe. It has messed up more than just a few. I'm talking about physically and mentally. And a lot of these poor kids, they go on, and this is why a lot of them do drugs. We wonder why they do this. It's a devastating type of thing that happens to a kid, to be sexually abused by an adult. Now, I know there are some people, some child stars that did that stuff, and they willingly offered themselves. And again, Drew Barrymore just basically says she wasn't abused. She kind of like let it, everything. She wanted all that stuff to happen, basically. Okay, fine. But you should, as a parent, you should be watching your kid, especially if your kid's Drew Barrymore. But in any case, Judy Haim claimed another man did abuse her son on the set of Lucas, but his name has not been revealed. This comes a day after Dominica Brassica said Haim was raped by Charlie Sheen while filming the movie. Now, Brassica alleges that Haim told him about this incident with Sheen, and that then 19-year-old Sheen rejected him after their encounter. Now, Corey Feldman, Haim's closest friend, wrote in his memoir that Haim being sodomized on the set of Lucas, but never named Sheen. So Wednesday afternoon, Sheen is now living with HIV, released a statement saying he categorically denies these allegations. Haim battled drug addiction for years, and he died back in 2010 at the age of 38. Having to do a lot with this stuff. And Corey Feldman has documented a lot of this over the years. Now, I find it funny interesting, that Feldman has alluded to the fact that his friend Haim was sexually abused on the set of Lucas. Somebody else says that, oh yeah, that happened and it was Charlie Sheen who did the abusing. And then, only then, does Corey Haim's mother, Judy, come out and say, no, it wasn't Charlie, it was somebody else. How does she know? When did she know? And why didn't she do something about it? I mean, this is just, it's unfathomable. Well, because of all of this stuff, the Los Angeles County District Attorney Jackie Lacey announced yesterday the creation of a special task force to examine allegations of sexual assault that's roiling Hollywood, as the number of accusations reported to the police has skyrocketed. So now all of a sudden they're being inundated, that so much so that they have to appoint a special task force in the LA Police Department to look into this stuff. So you know what? When they appoint a task force, you know what it means? It means they've gotten so many allegations and so many reports that they're overwhelmed. And that's just in LA. You've got New York City Police Department talking about, well, yeah, we've seen an uptick in a number of sexual misconduct reports coming into the New York PD. You know, the same PD that is looking to and prosecution that is trying to indict Weinstein for sexual assault. Now, understand that the vast majority of these people that are being accused of sexual misconduct are Democrats. They are Democrat supporters. They are registered Democrats. And now there was a news story I brought to you yesterday about, how Democrats are worried about going into next year's election cycle, 2018, because they don't want to have to fight a culture war. Why? Because they now know they will lose it. So Democrats have begun. Why is this happening now? Why is all this coming out now? Well, for some of them, for some of these people, these big Democratic donors, it is a DNC purge. And it's a purge now because they have to get rid of this stuff and get it behind them by 2018 because it's going to come out then. I know this is why they're trying on the Judge Moore thing. Yeah. I got that story. We'll get into that a little bit too. Woman says that Judge Moore, really? Judge Moore is like 75 years old now. Now you're going to, and this happened back when he was like 30. You waited 40 or 35 or 40 years to come. No. I don't know how many times they could have come forward to ruin the man before, but now that when Yeah. So we'll talk about that as well. But the sexual allegations are coming on in every. Now, the first thing I think of is, okay, why is everybody talking about it now? Obviously, why is everybody coming out of the woodwork now? Why are so many people being accused by so many people? Because it's a purge, folks. Don't doubt me on this.
I'm not Rod Eccles, and I approve this message.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
A couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said, "I'll bet you're a Nazi." Well, I love America, support the Constitution, and believe in capitalism. So I told him I'm not a Nazi, and I'm not. So what happens? The punk breaks out 2 windows and pepper sprays an elderly woman in the face. You know, there's one thing about long-haired young people nowadays. They're real assholes. Long-haired young people. You suck.
Now, there is a difference. Now, I'm saying that this is a great purge from the DNC. Now, there is a difference in the cultural side of this, folks. Understand this. Now, there is an allegation out there from one woman about Judge Moore. This is the 10 Commandments judge down there, was it Alabama? He's running in Alabama. And it looks like he's going to win in Alabama. And the Democrats are running scared of this guy in Alabama. So how do you derail him? Oh, let's just throw out a sexual misconduct charge. And this isn't even this is how weak this is. Evidently, you know, at first everybody was being construed as a possible rape of a minor, and this woman says that no, it wasn't rape. We just did a few certain dirty things, and that's it. And Moore is obviously denying it. But here's the deal with this, though. Mitch McConnell has already come out and talked about and said, look, hey, Moore, if there's any truth to this at all, any truth, you need to pull out of the race and resign, man. Just get out. That's a Republican response, and that's been a Republican response pretty much all the way, you know, for decades through all this stuff. Whenever a Republican has been accused of this stuff, the Republican Party has basically said, hey, look, you know, resign, guy. We're turning our back on you. We're not going to circle the wagons and protect you. What do Democrats normally do? Democrats, on the other hand, You get somebody who's a Democrat, who's a big donor of a Democrat, or who is a sitting senator or congressman Democrat. They circle the wagons and you talk about how bad the reporting is and that we stand by him. And even after numerous people come out or they've been convicted, like Roman Polanski, you still get other Democrats who support the Democrat. That's not the case with Republicans, and Democrats know this. So what are they doing? Now are they putting out these people as sacrificial lambs, saying, see, we're purging all these people. Weinstein is a big donor of ours. Well, not really. He's a big donor to the Clintons. They're trying to get rid of the Clintons because the Clintons, along with the Obamas, which is why I'm surprised that anybody would think about running Michelle for president, has totally and utterly destroyed the Democrat Party. They are struggling big time. Well, they're trying to put on a happy face, but make no mistake about it, the donations into the DNC party is down. You got a number of DNC people who could be brought up on charges, and who knows, maybe Mueller is actually doing his job and has found some dirt. He's got, 30 to 35 sealed indictments ready to go. I don't know what the big secret is or why he's got to keep them sealed. Let's get on with the show, man. If you've got something against Flynn, bring it forward. If you've got something on other people, even if they're Democrats, bring it forward. Let's move on with this thing. So they're trying to purge before the 2018 election season. Don't doubt me on this. They're trying to get rid of the dead weight. Because they understand that they don't make any sort of, even the smallest type of gain in 2018. Right now the Democrat Party's on the ropes. If they don't make even the smallest gain in 2018, there are those in the Democrat Party that believe that the Democrats are dead. Now, I, for one, will never count them out. Never count out a liberal. They're too embedded in our society right now. You can never count them out. But as a major party of influence and power on the political scene, they could be in trouble if they do not make some reversal of their losses in 2018. And folks, this is what they understand this, and they need to purge some of the dead weight. And how do you get rid of some of the dead weight? Well, the best and easiest way to purge the dead weight is to start lobbing and throwing about sexual impropriety allegations. Make no mistake about it. It always works. Look, it got rid of Gary Hart. It got rid of a bunch of people before. And these were just accusations. There was no proof, but just, a couple of people coming forward. Just that it gets rid of people. It's worked in the past. So and look, it got rid of Weinstein, a huge Clinton supporter and donor. The problem is that they couldn't control it. And now it is opened the floodgates, and the Democrats are running around scared, so they're trying to counter by saying, look, Judge Moore did the same thing. No, he didn't do the same thing. And there are all kinds of questions about that. Why did she wait? Why is there only one? Everybody else has got multiple. Don't doubt me, folks. This was a purge that went bad.
It was just another quiet Saturday at the Johnson home.
Honey, have you seen the hammer?
It's in the garage.
Oh, no, not the garage.
Later that same day...
Dad, I can't find the bicycle pump.
Son, I'm afraid it's in the garage.
The garage?
Then the following Tuesday...
Howard, where's the car?
It's in the garage.
Does your garage look like a giant yard sale without the yard? Do you cringe at the thought of entering your garage? Then you need Crest Garage Cabinets. With one phone call, those wonderful folks at Crest will come out to your home, design the best combination of cabinets for you, and install them quickly and professionally before your very eyes.
It's a miracle.
And unlike other companies who ask for a down payment or money up front, You won't pay a penny until your Crest cabinets are installed to your satisfaction. So call Crest today, toll-free at 1-800-548-2848. That's 1-800-548-2848. And you'll never fear going into your garage again.
And now, a message from the American Migraine Foundation.
It's an absolute nightmare. I was terrified. It was like your head's gonna explode.
Migraine is a disabling disease.
Just all of a sudden couldn't see.
Migraine has ruined my life.
Absolutely terrifying.
There's pain that does not stop.
It's a throbbing, pulsing, banging, hammering feeling in your head.
36 million Americans suffer.
I started getting migraines around 5 years old.
Just takes over everything.
I feel trapped by migraine.
It hurts like my head's gonna fall off.
And the whole world around you stops.
My world has gotten small. You feel like the world's closing in on you. There's nothing you can do.
I had spent a year housebound. It's like you're trapped in your head. There's no escaping it. You can't leave your body.
Don't suffer alone. Make your move against migraine. Visit AmericanMigraineFoundation.org to find help, learn more, and get connected.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The human voice. It can be sweet as music, powerful as thunder,
And so, my fellow Americans,
cheerful as laughter. But for millions of people, it can also be a sign of COPD. This serious lung disease can make it so hard to breathe, you often can't catch a breath or finish a sentence, let alone carry a tune. And many who have COPD don't even know it. That's where your voice comes in. If you think you or a loved one have symptoms, talk with a healthcare provider. Early diagnosis can mean better treatments and quality of life. Join us in raising our voices for the millions with COPD who can't. Learn more, breathe better at NIH.gov.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals, Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
You want to know what time it is? It's time to bring the rain.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Hour number 3, the fastest 3 hours on Internet Talk Radio is right here on the Rod Eccles Show. Welcome to Friday. Welcome to Freedom Friday. Yes, it is Friday, November number 10 in the year of our Lord 2017, as we slide on into the weekend. Can't believe it's hour number 3 already. Just amazing how fast time flies when you're having fun. Glad that you are here, liberty lovers and ecclesiastites, as we enjoy our increasing number of freedoms via President Donald Trump by reducing regulation and rules and regulations on us. Yes, I'd like, at the end of 4 years, yeah, well, there are people that think that the president won't last his first full term, but I think he'll make it through, whether or not he gets reelected. He's going to have a tough time. Believe me, folks, he's going to have a tough time getting reelected. Not simply because his support won't be there, and his base won't be. Oh, it'll be there, but it'll be an all-out assault from the swamp like you've never seen before, from the Democrats and the Republicans. If Trump has any kind of continued success over this first term, they are going to be livid. It is going to be unbelievable, the amount of blowback that you're going to see from the swamp. This is why they can't allow him to have any success now. But the problem is that there is lots of things that he can do that he has been doing. I would love to see the amount of one of the things that he could just, one of the things that would probably get him reelected, like that, would be if Trump were to, say, cut the number of regulations in half, just in half. From what, 70 to 35,000 pages. Because people would feel, look, the economy is already feeling it, but people would begin to really feel that. Government being taken out of their lives, shrinking the size of government even a little bit. That would get this man reelected in a heartbeat. And you know what? I think the swamp knows that. That's why they cannot add on by giving him any kind of success. Now, I mean, this whole tax reform thing, it is such a bunch of... Look, these people are talking... All the stuff that they're talking about in the tax reform now is stuff that they've been talking about and trying to get when they couldn't do it under Obama or the Democrats before. And this is the stuff we want, man. And some of them really fought hard for it. Now, some of those people that fought for some of this stuff are the ones fighting against it. Are you kidding me? This is nothing. This is how bad the deep state, how bad the swamp is. They don't give a damn about you or me. They are willing to screw us over royally simply because they don't like Trump. And that's pretty bad. That is awfully bad. I mean, I'm just saying, folks. Don't be fooled by all this media. Another, you know what? I know you're listening to this program, but you got to stop watching the lamestream media. You really do. You got to stop reading that stupid drivel stuff because none of it's true, or it's only half true, or it's something that they just want to be true, but it isn't. They want you to think it's a big, huge victory against Donald Trump with the gubernatorial races in New Jersey and Virginia going towards for Democrats. When the reality is that nobody expected it to go any other way. There was no real competition in Jersey. I mean, come on, they put up a Christieite. You know, Chris Christie is poison in New Jersey. Anybody who's tied to Chris Christie right now is not going to win dog catcher. So was it the lieutenant governor under Christie in New Jersey that went out? Nobody expected her to win. Just like Gillespie. I mean, well, it was a referendum against a national referendum. A gubernatorial race in one state where everybody expected the Democrat to win and to begin with is a national referendum, according to the media, against Trump. Because the Republican candidate who did not endorse Trump, who is a never-Trumper, whom Trump did not endorse but actually talked negatively about, and nobody expected to win and to begin with. But that's now a national referendum on how the American people voter is now rejecting Trump. Really? Y'all must think we stupid. Twisting of a loss into a victory is one thing. Yeah, they've gotten pretty good at trying to do that. I mean, it doesn't work, but they've gotten that's all they could do with all these special elections that they keep losing. So now when they do get a victory, they want to spin this big time. Well, it's not really a victory. They didn't gain anything. Let me just put it this way. I guess you could spin it by saying the Democrats did have a major victory. Why was it a major victory? Because they didn't lose a seat. They didn't lose anything. They didn't gain anything, but they didn't lose anything. In other words, the gubernatorial seat in Virginia is still in the hands of a Democrat. So they didn't lose it to a Republican. So that's a victory, I suppose. Oh yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, they did gain a seat in New Jersey. Let's face it. They did. Well, let's give them their due. Is it a surprise? No, it's not a shock or a surprise. Everybody expected it to go down the way it went down, but it was a net gain for them, for the Democrats. But they're not really touting New Jersey as a big, huge victory for them. If anything, they should have gone with that one, not Virginia, because Christie was a big Trump supporter. And Christie was at one time in the inner circle of Trump. And Christie's, successor, his lieutenant governor, got trounced in New Jersey. But for whatever reason, they're not touting that. I mean, that's if I was a Democrat, that's where I'd be going. I wouldn't be, trying to say, look at Virginia, man. Everybody expected Virginia to go exactly the way it went. But New Jersey, on the other hand, now that's where a true former Trump supporter was at. The true Trump supporter lost there. Well, I mean, I don't know about the lieutenant governor. She was a big Trumper, but Christie was, obviously. So I don't know what Chris Christie is going to do now. He's out of a job. Is he term? It's term limited, right? New Jersey. So he's out of a job. He didn't get a job within the Trump administration because can you say, yeah, he effed up big time? And the thing about it is, with love or hate Christie, he's a pretty honest man. Now, he may not come out and just overtly admit it, but he knows he effed up. And he's alluded to that fact. He understands what he's done, which is why he really doesn't come out and have any overt animosity towards Trump. He knows he effed up. And Christie's the kind of person that's pretty honest about that stuff with himself. What's he going to do? I don't know. I mean, he's just a governor. He's not rich, and he's leaving office not very well liked within his state or within the Republican Party. To tell you the truth, I don't know what the hell he's going to do. I'm not really all that interested, to tell you the truth, but because it's New Jersey, for crying out loud. But the Garden State. And here in Manchester, New Hampshire, Manchester, New Hampshire is the poster child of why election laws and rules and regulations need to be stiffened and changed. Because the Democrats are very good at, shall we say, election rigging. Now, I'm not saying that they rigged the Manchester mayoral election illegally, but they did it, quote unquote, legally by bringing in an influx of folks who are more likely, especially immigrants, legal immigrants, who became citizens, who were more likely to vote Democrat. They moved them to Manchester, New Hampshire. Why? Because Ted Gatsas kept winning. Even though he only won by like 60, 65 votes 4 years ago at the last election, he still kept winning. And the scare was this time that he would win again. Because look, there are certain like Boston, but there are certain in New York and in Chicago, there are certain cities that when there's a particular person that becomes mayor and they have a lot of charisma, like Ted Gatsas had, and they're well liked. Ted Gatsas is still well liked in Manchester. It's hard to defeat them unless you do certain other things. And that's what the Democrats in this state, in New Hampshire, they legally jerry-rigged the city of Manchester in certain wards, wards or districts, in certain wards, to make sure that Gatsas did not win this time. Because otherwise, it doesn't make any sense to elect this very openly tax and spend Democrat as Manchester's mayor. It didn't make any sense. I mean, this is a woman that wanted to raise property taxes in 1 year by 4.5%. This is a woman that wanted to slap a 9% surcharge fee for flying out of Manchester Airport, and a bunch of other taxes and fees and things that she wanted to be able to. She wanted to try to institute a sales tax, a city sales tax within the city of Manchester. Now, I don't think she could do it because it's, did they make it I have to check. I knew that I don't recall now whether it's a constitutional amendment now that we can't have a sales tax. I know they wanted to do it. I just don't remember if they actually went ahead and did it. But New Hampshire's famous for not wanting a sales or personal income tax. But she wanted to do that just in the city of Manchester. Just unbelievable. No one ever, even a Democrat gubernatorial candidate, even mentions a sales or a personal income tax. They get trounced in the election. So here's a woman who advocated having a sales tax within the city limits of Manchester, New Hampshire, and she wins. How is that possible? Well, because they actually, I'm making the accusation, they quote unquote legally jerry-rigged the system. The Democrat Party within the state. That's how they got rid of Ted Gass's. Don't doubt me.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Yes, love hurts. It can hurt emotionally, but more important, it can also hurt you physically. It can hurt you in a way which nobody who owns a hot tub and lives in California can afford to be unaware of. Yes, I'm talking about California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. This painful, incurable disease can make an enjoyable soak in a hot tub with family, friends, and dog into a literally unforgettable experience. If you catch California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, not only will you walk around feeling like you're about to pass a twisted sardine can lid, you'll also smell like a pile of burning tractor tires. So don't jump out of the frying pan and into the hot tub, because if you get California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, it'll really burn your ass.
This has been a public service message brought to you by the Citizens Against CHTRG Foundation. California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. We're not going to take it sitting down.
Going to do this weekend here in New Hampshire? We're expecting potential record cold temperatures even while, the South Pole, Antarctica, seems to be heating up and melting because of, magma flows, hot pockets of magma melting the ice down there. Instead, not man-made global warming, but the Earth itself has a fever. Fever, you give me fever. So what are you doing this weekend? You going to the movies? Anything good opening up this weekend? I don't think so. Thor Ragnarok is doing pretty well at the box office, I suppose. They're expecting it to what was like a cost $150 million to make. They expect it to make $300 million by the time its run is done. Okay. So there's a limited success for the studios, because a lot of these others are they're not even breaking even. If they are breaking, it's just barely. And the ones that seem to be doing better and making actually any money are the low budget ones, like what was it, the recent is it Chainsaw? Well, it's made like $30 million, but it only cost like $10 million to make or something like that. It was really, really low. So those are the you can make money at doing $30 million if you only spend $10 million to make it. But a lot of this other stuff is not really doing so well. So are you going to go to the movies this weekend? You gonna go see anything? I can't. Actually, I got to tell you, even unless they've changed the ending, the Murder in the Orient Express, the Agatha Christie thing looks very good. Actually, I know, and I saw the previews of it, and for a flash there was Johnny Depp, and I saw in the credits, I said, Johnny Depp is in this? Where the hell was Johnny Depp? And he's not a main A-list, a primary star in this. I mean, he's like, it's like the equivalent of, star A, star B, star C, star D, star E, and Johnny Depp. He's towards the end. Too bad for him, I suppose. But that's the only one that looks like it's worth anything to me to go see. I'm not even interested in Thor Ragnarok. I mean, it doesn't seem to be working. I mean, this is like the 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th movie in the Marvel Universe. I haven't even seen the new Spider-Man movie yet. I just can't. I get what they're doing, why they're doing, and how they're doing. But there's too many of them. I'm not going to spend $15 at a time, per ticket, and then another $20 in popcorn and soda per. I mean, this is just getting ridiculous, and they don't allow this stuff to be on the same platform. So I can't just sit back and say, okay, I'll wait for it to come on Netflix. They scatter them into Netflix and Hulu and Amazon and HBO, and I'm like, just enough of this garbage. I'm not spending $50 a month on top of cable just so I can watch these movies. Do these people not get this yet? No, they're Hollywood. They don't get it. They don't get that the average person out there doesn't have $100 to spend on movies every month or more. It's ridiculous. And have you seen the DVD sales? Nobody's buying. It's like VHS cassettes before Blockbuster finally went under. Nobody's buying DVDs anymore either. Why? I can't remember the last time I did buy a DVD. It's been a while. It's been a few years. I used to buy them. I don't buy them anymore. Especially because since I found out that they actually do degrade, and you're not allowed to copy your own stuff without getting into some kind of trouble. Like, screw that. I'm the one that bought the DVD. I own it. I should be able to copy it and preserve it in whatever format I want to. But they prevent you a lot of times in the new DVDs from doing that. You can't copy. Oh, good. So I'm not going to buy a DVD. Just like I'm not going to the movies. There's not this weekend. There's nothing at the movies. I don't. Maybe you want to see something. I'm just saying, be careful now, because the person that you see on the screen might be a new star that has been accused of sexual abuse or sexual harassment or or rape or some sort. Again, I haven't heard anybody accuse Johnny Depp of anything yet. Right? Anybody? No, but we do have, the comedian CK? He's been accused by more than one woman. I guess, see, now it's all of a sudden, it's not just one accusation. You get one accusation and the floodgates open and you get a plethora of people that come out. More in just a second.
You might be surprised to learn who has Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis. Nearly 1 in 200 Americans are suffering with the debilitating pain and constant disruption of these inflammatory bowel diseases, or IBD. Chances are you know someone with IBD. For example, your neighbor or coworker. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation was created to help patients cope and to find a cure. People with IBD can't wait. Won't you help someone you know? Visit www.escapethestall.com today.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C, but most people don't know they are infected. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you can still have hepatitis C, a serious liver disease that often has no symptoms. In fact, people can live with hepatitis C for decades without feeling or looking sick. But over time, hepatitis C can cause serious health problems, including liver damage, liver failure, or even liver cancer. Getting tested is the only way to know if you're infected with hepatitis C. That's why the CDC recommends everyone born from 1945 to 1965 get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments are available that can cure this disease. So talk to your doctor about getting tested. It could save your life. A message from the CDC.
Everyone is talking about healthcare these days. America spends twice that of other developed countries on our healthcare system, yet our health ranks near the bottom. How can we stop spending so much and getting so little? Shifting to a system based on primary care can help fix the problem. Patients with a primary care doctor live longer, healthier lives and are less likely to suffer from cancer, heart disease, or stroke. Primary care that is comprehensive and coordinated also saves money. Patients who have a primary care doctor spend 30% less on health care than patients who don't. States with a high number of primary care doctors have lower health care costs and higher quality care. Primary care can help make America healthy again. To learn more about the benefits of primary care, visit www.healthisprimary.org. This message is brought to you by America's Family Physicians.
It's been called shell shock, war neurosis, and battle fatigue. Today, we call it post-traumatic stress disorder, and it affects 1 out of every 5 warriors returning from battle in Iraq and Afghanistan. The Wounded Warrior Project offers comfort and support for warriors with PTSD and all other scars of war, whether those scars are visible or hidden. Find out how to help, because for warriors, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. Please visit woundedwarriorproject.org.
The Amazon's rainforest is being cut down so fast that by 2030, 55% of it could be completely wiped out. The Earth's forests can't speak up when they need help, but we can. Be the voice for those who have no voice. Visit worldwildlife.org.
There's a threat targeting America. One that's growing fast, but may still be hard to see. Lyme disease. Spread by tiny ticks, often smaller than the head of a pin. This dangerous disease is now more widespread than West Nile, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS combined. And if left untreated, it can lead to arthritis, facial paralysis, and even memory and concentration problems, often called brain fog. As the threat of Lyme disease grows to more than 300,000 projected cases each year, it's time for us to target Lyme disease. That means checking for ticks when you've been outside, even in your own backyard. It means seeing a doctor if you experience the symptoms of Lyme disease, which can include joint pain, flu-like symptoms, fever, fatigue, or sometimes a bullseye-shaped rash. Set your sights on stopping Lyme. Learn how you can target Lyme disease at targetlyme.org.
Dad, we need to talk.
Can we just enjoy the drive?
If you're not going to listen to me, who will we listen to? Jeffrey.
Ah! Marcia Gay Harden, what?
Eyes on the road, Dad.
What are you doing? What are you doing in my back seat? How did you get in here?
You're getting older.
Not that old.
Your brain's changing. It's natural.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Honey, I've got experience with this. Jeffrey, brain health is all about making the most of your brain as you age and helping to reduce some of the risks to your brain.
Really? Now that's interesting.
So, you'll talk to her about this, but not me. Marcia Gay Harden? Where did she go?
Learn what you can do to help keep your brain healthy at brainhealth.gov. She didn't say goodbye? I mean, I would have. Visit brainhealth.gov.
Okay, getting back to Judy Haim, Corey Haim's mother, and what she said. See, none of this. What she's saying, she gave an interview to Dr. Oz, Mehmet Oz, on the Dr. Oz program, and what she says really isn't making any kind of sense to a logical person. Now, for those people who are just touchy feely, and just like to look at everything on the surface, it might make sense to them. But to me, what she says doesn't make any sense. And you don't even really have to think long and hard about it. But here's what she said. She said she told Dr. Oz in the interview that she doesn't believe Sheen did anything sexually to her then 13-year-old son, while Sheen at that time, during the making of the movie Lucas, was 19. She doesn't believe that Sheen molested or raped Corey. She says, "I would have known if anything was wrong." She said that had something been going on between Sheen and her son, he would have told her, or she would have known through mother's intuition, which is why she didn't know about anything else that was going on in her son's life. Well, according to Corey Feldman, the mom was clueless to a lot. Either she was clueless or she ignored it. You decide. She said, "My kid hid nothing. He was like transparent. He never hid anything," which is why he hid his drug addiction, or tried to. He never hid anything. It's out of character. That's number one, she said. When my son was 13, he's not going to go and ask Charlie Sheen to go and sleep with him. Well, yeah, of course not. Because it's probably not on a 13 or 14-year-old boy's mind is to go and sleep with another man. Now, even if the kid is gay, he's probably not getting, especially at that particular point in time, when gayness wasn't so accepted, they're not going to go and ask somebody. It's going to be reversed. So Corey isn't going to go up to Charlie or anybody else, but that Charlie or anybody else is going to go to Corey and not give him much of a choice. So right there, she's got it backwards. What is this woman hiding? However, during the interview, which will air later today, actually, Haim names another man who she claims abused her son. It's not clear whether or not the name would be revealed on air during the interview. She says, "I have to tell you that this guy is the guy that abused my son." So again, she knew this and did nothing. But it wasn't Charlie Sheen. She's adamant that it's not Sheen. Now, I have no reason to doubt her on that. Just looking at Charlie Sheen's life, I would find it hard to believe, not impossible, but hard to believe that he would be guilty of such an accusation. I'm just saying. Now, again, as I mentioned earlier, I'm not a Charlie Sheen fan. I'm not a huge. I mean, I did like him in 2.5 Men, but I'm not a huge Charlie Sheen fan. Never have been. But I'm also after the truth, and I just find it hard to believe that Sheen would be an abuser of such in such a manner. Now, I'm not saying that he wouldn't take a buxom, blonde, 18-year-old woman slightly against her will, but in fact, I think there have been accusations that he's done that. But to diddle a little boy or a 13 or 14-year-old boy, I don't think that's in Sheen's character. I could be wrong about him, but I'm just saying I don't believe that is Charlie Sheen. Somebody else in the show, as the mom is saying. I don't know. Who could it have been? Could it have been another male star? Could it have been a male, somebody on the production team? Maybe a director somebody in the director pool, like the director, the assistant director, the assistant to the assistant, or producer, or assistant, somebody in the director or production team, or one of the rank and file production members. I don't know. Will we find out? I don't know if Mehmet Oz will allow it to be aired, for fear he might be sued. But anyway, sex allegations against Judge Roy Moore send Republicans reeling. I don't know why. It's just one person, and she's not even saying that Moore raped her. Republicans in Washington seem near panic Thursday in light of the news. Well, are they running scared because now that Moore, who's a Republican, a staunch Republican, are some of them running scared because maybe that they're guilty of some of this stuff? And now that the doors have swung open against Democrats, will they be swung open against some Republicans? I'm not going to say no. I know some liberals are going to say, well, you're going to protect the Republicans. No, I'm not. If there's a Republican out there, man, it's not called throwing them under the bus. It's called delivering justice in this particular case. If there's any Republican out there that's guilty of doing any of this stuff, well, they should suffer the consequences and probably go to jail just like any Democrat. No, I'm not going to protect them. And indeed, most Republicans are not going to try to protect and shroud another Republican for doing such a thing. I mean, we've already got McConnell out there talking about, hey, Moore, if any of this stuff is even slightly true, you need to get out of the race. So the Republicans are, even before any of this stuff has even been proven, have already signified that they would turn their back on Moore. Roy Moore, if any of this stuff turns out to be true that is being said against him. And the girl or woman is not even, I mean, she's not even claiming that what Moore raped her, right? I'm not going to fully describe the entire encounter, but let's just say there was some fondling, touching, and mutual foreplay involved. But according to the girl, the woman, there was no intercourse and there was nothing forced. But, well, I mean, that had. I know you're an adult. You're supposed to know better, even when a child puts the moves on an adult. The adult's supposed to have the greater sense, and that happens. Yeah, it had underage people. Some of them, for various reasons, they do go after. They do make the first move. It happens. I mean, to say all the time that children, especially teenagers, are innocent would be a lie. Because sometimes they're not. They're the instigator, but it is the job of the adult to know better, to be mature enough to put a stop to it and say, no, this is not going to happen. Now, I do know that it has happened where the child, the teenager, has been rebuffed or rebuked, and that pisses off the teenager, so they make up the story. But that's very rare. That is very rare. But it does happen. So that's also out there. Could be, why did she wait so long to even say anything if she thought she was being abused? But on the Judge Moore thing. And again, it could have been maybe something similar like that did happen, but the judge rebuked and rebuffed her, and she's a little ticked off about it. It has been proven to have happened in the past before. This could be the case again. We just don't know enough. And it's only been one, as far as I know, there's only been one supposed credible accusation against Roy Moore in this. And this was, 30 years ago. But it could be like Hollywood. Nobody's been willing of note and power has been willing to come forward. And there is no Corey Haim out there in Alabama, I guess, or Corey Feldman, I should say. He's the one that's been trying to bust open this story in Hollywood for decades now, for years. The guy's almost 50. He's 45, 48, something like that. I don't know. He's almost 50 years old. Wow. Corey, well, no, I guess he's not. 30. He's mid-40s now. Still pretty old. And there's even a story out there against Trump. Trump was accused of attacking a 13-year-old back in 1994. And supposedly it sounds legitimate. It sounded legitimate at first because the woman supposedly had witnesses. But then people started to realize, well, it was at this party type of thing. And I don't. It just, again, 94, why is it taking, even after, this is now just coming out even after Trump has been accused of being the locker room conversation thing. Remember that? Remember that wasn't that like 2010 or something? That possibly illegally recorded conversation took place. Locker room conversation between two men, adult men. Nobody else was there. Nobody else should have heard what was said. Nobody else could have heard what was said because it was said in private. And nobody came out then. But now we have somebody coming out saying that, yeah, Trump attacked me when I was 13. Really? And I know some people, this happens with girls mostly because it's for whatever reason, it's not as easy for boys to fake their age. But girls can put on makeup and look older than they are. And when they start appearing at bars or clubs or parties that children are not supposed to be at, and guys are drinking, they lose their. This is no excuse. I'm not making an excuse. I'm just giving it a reason. Their faculties are loosened. And they can be deceived into thinking that a child is an adult. Now, that has also happened a lot. Look, I've seen some girls try to get into nightclubs, and they look like they're old enough to be there, but then they show the ID, and they know it's a fake ID, and they ask, well, how old are you really? There was one girl was 15 years old, and I swear to God, she looked like she was at least 25. And thank God, I was a bouncer, and my co-bouncer is the one that picked up on it. He was the one that was checking. He's like, no, this is not a real ID. How old are you really? And he says, if you don't tell me, I'm going to hold you here and call the cops. And she confessed, I'm 15. And I'm thinking, damn, she looks like she's 25, dude. I would have let her in. But yeah, so I know that happens. They can dress up. But, it is the way it is. So, but again, folks, this is all nothing but a purge. This is a purge from the Democrat side because the Democrats know that they cannot compete with Republicans and the rest of the country on this whole cultural war type of thing. And that's just the way it goes. Any case, take a quick break here. When we get back, I will go. I got a list here. There's a list that is out there about all of the people so far who've been accused of sexual improprieties, both whether they be on a female or a male. It could be male on female, male on male, or what have you. I got a list here. You decide for yourself, because this stuff is getting just, it's wild, folks. It's just wild.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
Any show out there that people like to bug out, but I would stick around because you always get some great information in the last few minutes of this program. Like this, the number of people that are being accused of sexual impropriety over the years, from years past, the list is long and growing. I was looking at this and compiling it. So I'm thinking, oh my God, this is what a purge that we're going through. So. Here it is. Ben Affleck, known for Good Will Hunting, was accused of groping MTV host Hillary Burton during a 2003 appearance on Total Request Live. He issued an apology earlier last month for that, so I guess he was admitting that. Louis C.K., the comedian and actor, known for his vulgar humor, was accused of sexual misconduct by at least 5 women. In an expose published in the New York Times earlier this week, comedian Dana Min Goodman claims CK exposed himself and started masturbating in front of her and fellow comedian Julia Wolof in his hotel room during a comedy festival in 2002. Other females have come across with similar claims against Louis C.K. Andy Dick, actor and comedian, probably best known for Road Trip and a couple of other, a TV program, I think, or two. was accused of groping of people on sets, and he's admitted to licking and propositioning to people for sex, where he was fired from his role as in Buchanan back on November 1st. But he does deny that he groped anyone. David Gilad, the manager and producer and CEO of Primary Wave Entertainment, those who produce Atomic Blonde, was accused by actress Jessica Barth of drugging and sexually assaulting her back in 2012. Dustin Hoffman, who's now 80 years old, didn't realize he was that old, is being accused of numerous females coming forward now, one as young as 17 years old. Ethan Kath, songwriter and producer of Canadian music group Crystal Castles, was accused by former bandmate Alice Glass of in a lengthy letter posted on her website about his proclivity towards sexual innuendo. Jeremy Piven didn't know that he was accused. Was accused by actresses and reality star Ariane Bellamar of groping her on 2 occasions. Brett Ratner, a producer and director of Rush Hour and X-Men and The Last Stand, was accused of sexually harassing 6 women, including actress Olivia Munn and Natasha Henstridge. Don't know who those 2 are. Twiggy Ramirez, former bassist and guitarist of the band Marilyn Manson, was accused of sexual impropriety. Chris Savino, an animator and writer best known for creating The Loud House, was fired from Nickelodeon after multiple women lodged complaints against him recently. Steven Seagal, who's now 65, was accused of sexual harassment by Portia de Rossi, who claims he unzipped his pants during a private office audition. Actress Julia Margulies also revealed an incident she had with Steven Seagal, similar to that of de Rossi. Kevin Spacey, well, we know what's happened with Kevin Spacey. Numerous men, including actor Anthony Rapp, who claimed he was 14, have come forward. Tony Montana and Rob Cavazos, the son of WBZ news anchor, former news anchor at the age of 18 on Nantucket last year, is included in that. Jeffrey Tambor, who's 73. Man, this list just goes on and on. James Toback, Bob Weinstein, Harvey Weinstein, Ed Westwick. And he's only 30. From Gossip Girl. Is accused of rape by actress Christina Cohen. And the list just goes on and on, folks. I mean, there's more here. Again, this is a purging like you will never see again in the future. And this is all for Democrats and the leftists out there to get ready to try to say that they can fight a cultural and ethical and moral a political war in 2018, because right now they can't. They're just losing it everywhere. So they're trying, but I think it's gotten out of hand. They're trying to get rid of people who are big Clinton supporters and donors, and it's just ensnaring a bunch of people. And now they're going to try to spread it to the Republican side, but I don't think it's as prolific on the Republican side as it is on the Democrat side. It's only going to get worse, folks. Hey, have a great weekend. Now, because we're out of time for today and for the week, so have a great weekend. We'll be back here on Monday. Go see a good movie, will you? And if you don't go see a good movie, then sit down and read a good book. I'm Rod Eccles. Thanks for tuning in. I'm out.
Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A shameless politician always plays her cards right. Got a crew for the fight on the airwaves. Lapdogs in the press keep their mouths tight. Cause a Clinton never needs to explain why it is what they done or with who. A real Clinton knows that they're entitled, and you don't get to know what they do.
What difference does it make?
For Clinton, what's loaded in some fat Oppo file? A Clinton plays the victim for promotion. A Clinton kills it off with a smile. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A server full of secrets ain't no thing. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Nothing ever hits with the sting.